Not since season 1 have we had an opportunity to do something like this. Trying to kind of get her bearings, and if she is perceived as being passive and in no way a threat, then she can do what Daenerys does best, which is sit and wait and then fuck motherfuckers up. Yeah, I can't say that, can I? Tribe within the Dothraki as a people have their own Khals, so they have their own leaders. And a Khal becomes a Khal by being undefeated. So every time Khal dies, that Khaleesi then becomes part of the Dosh Khaleen, which are kind of the old crones, is what they're called. And they just sit out their days, being respected and revered by the Dothraki as a people, in that they're wise, and the Khals go to them for answers to really difficult questions.
Thrak is their spiritual home, and as a fighting people, it's where no weapons are allowed, so all weapons need to be left outside the city.
What are you doing? It's forbidden to carry weapons in the sacred city.
You're asking a dog to hand over his teeth.
You know, we're back in Spain this year as we were last year, and again, it's one of these sets you walk into and it just totally blows you away.
Every year when you come back to Game of Thrones, there's a couple of those wow moments. Being here on location just outside of Almeria, where the city of Vaes Dothrak has been built, basically, was definitely one of those wow moments for me.
We just went ahead and built our own city, because that's what Game of Thrones does. It does it for real. There's no, like, pushover cardboard cutout. It's real villages that they've built. The interior burning was scary, genuinely frightening, where I was like, oh, I'm not fireproof, whoops. I forgot about that one.
We had to have a completely controlled environment for the big shot of Dany walking through the flames.
When she leaves, we actually dressed up her stunt double in a fire suit and a fire mask and walked her through some very intense flame, which created the pocket of air for when Emilia does her walk, which is without flame, just with the lighting effect, that can be comped in, but it looks like the flame reacts correctly to a body walking through it.
The end of episode 604 is definitely meant consciously to echo the end of episode 110. It's Dany stepping out of a flame to great effect, just this time on a much, much larger scale. And this really, in one fell swoop, pretty much makes her the queen of the Dothraki without her having to say a word.
What I wanted to create was this kind of reverse-engineered wave like you see at a sporting event, only it was of these people bowing before her as she came through the fire. The notion was that you start to see one person go down, and then 2, and then 4, and then 8 and 16, until it becomes like these massive dominoes of 5,000 people, which is created with the help of the visual effects department. We had 400 extras, and for anyone who knows anything about television, that's about 320 extras more than you get on any television show ever, anywhere.
One of the things that goes through Daria's mind is that he thought he knew the extent of her strength and power, but seeing her walk out of the burning temple, it just blows him away.
The two of them are kind of in a similar situation in terms of watching Daenerys. I think it's in that moment that they're both filled with a kind of awe and loss at the same time, because they know that if she's capable of doing that, then why would she ever need them? And the truth is that she doesn't.
I banished you. Twice. You came back. Twice.
Jorah comes back to win my favor, but in that journey, he becomes very sick.
The moment actually in the series where she was probably most likely to touch me, I have to retreat.
You must send me away.
I think Daenerys doesn't know what she's going to do with him and the conversation that's going to be had. But then before they can get anywhere, he shows her that. And I think that cuts to the core of the matter, which is that she loves him. She knows that he's doing the best for her by walking away. But then she kind of one-ups him by saying, "You're not leaving me. I'm giving you a job. I command you to heal yourself."
What Daenerys says, which is, I need you by my side when I take the Seven Kingdoms, that's what Jorah's lived for ever since he met her. So he's giving him a reason to go out and find that cure, not for himself, but for her.
Saying goodbye to this character was going to be painful for the audience, but more painful for Dany, given her conflicted emotions about Jorah. And I remember talking to the actors about keeping the tears inside as long as you could. and that when Jorah admits his love for Dany, that would be probably something he couldn't totally meet her eyes.
I love you. I have no idea how directors put it together and storyboard it, and they'll describe a shot, this bit belongs there, and you think, well, okay, I'll take your word for it, and then you see it all pieced together, and it's so organic and it's seamless. And there are so many variables in Thrones, there are so many elements, and VisFX is a big part of it.
The VFX department brings in all those things that you can't really get. We could go get a dragon from the zoo and film them. I think we would, but there are no dragons. She's flying around. We're going to film her on a buck, which is basically just sort of this green saddle thing that's about the shape of the top of Drogon that she'll sit on, and we'll film her and then composite her into the CG world.
Emilia did a sensational job when I shot her on the urban cowboy riding bull. And having the horses active in the scene charged the scene with a certain amount of chaos and energy. That was totally realistic and brought the level up of how the Dothraki extras reacted. They get on board with her speech. It's extraordinarily rousing.
One of our favorite moments from season 1 was watching Khal Drogo deliver a speech very similar to this one, and she's echoing almost the exact same language. It was one of our favorite moments because it was a big turning point in the story where we really see Dany's ambitions coming to the fore, and also partly because of Jason Momoa's performance, who was so incredible at delivering a speech in a made-up language.
Shooting scenes on Dothraki is challenging, especially for actors who haven't done the show before. It was really impressed upon them ahead of time that they really have to know this stuff. Like, there's no improvising. Like, you really, really, really have to study it. And so they work with dialect coaches, and they really nailed it.
It's easy for us. We write the lines in English, and then the actors have to take this language, and they have to not only speak it well and make it intelligible, but also they have to act. I mean, they have to emote in a language they don't really understand.
That's the challenge. You're speaking this made-up language. You've got to walk and talk, ride a horse with one hand, you know, fight somebody, punch somebody at a certain point, remember all the continuity, and speak a language that is completely new to you and completely alien.
It's a nightmare. When you come across it in the script and you say, I'm speaking Dothraki, you just, no, please no. Please no.
If it weren't for a little magic fairy who goes by the name of Jan Hayden-Rouse, we would all be ruined. We would all be screwed. The reality is that you have your line, the cat sat on the mat, and it would then be translated into words that are applicable to be translated into Dothraki. So the cat sat on the mat would turn into the non-dog would be sitteth by the near the on the sort of by the door-ish kind of thing. And then that would be translated into Dothraki. And then you'd learn that.
Amelia listens to it rhythmically, so she listens to the MP3 files, and then we'll clap it.
I've now got little sneaky little tricks that really help me. Like I make it into a song. Yeah.
Sometimes we beatbox it. We like, and I'll be beatboxing and she'll be singing along like a rude girl.
Like if you get like the right rhythm or something, then it stays in your mind and you like remember the rhythm.
أنا داينيريس جافاسكو هي على تاغارين أتاك محكسون مايو سافيرساك خليسي ميرني خليسي من داتلي من رويناري ماتاكي خليسي مرافوشي جافورشي فيا فاراك.
Everything that I say is in Dothraki, so I am completely subtitled, which is cool, you know, it's been a great experience. I mean, the last sort of couple of scenes we shot on the temple, there's like 5 or 6 pages of Dothraki dialogue. It was definitely one of the most challenging things I've ever done.
There's something about it that just makes the whole world seem more believable. You know, it's a weird thing to say, verisimilitude, when you're talking about a made-up language in a made-up world where dragons exist and magic and so forth, but You know, for us, we're never trying to be tongue-in-cheek. We're always trying to present a world that's completely real. It's not our world, but it's a real world. And Dothraki is just one element that adds to that illusion.
I think Dany is one of the most fascinating characters because the audience never knows what to expect from her storyline. In this season, she becomes the true warrior queen, ready to take on the world.
Watching the way she has come into her own with all the mistakes that she's made and all the impulsive decisions that have come with it feels like she has earned it.
She's messed up a lot. Stuff's gone wrong. Ultimately, the theme is a lack of trust within herself. And it takes her to be stripped of all of her advisors, stripped of her dragons even, stripped of everything that makes her who she has become, to realize that she doesn't need any of it. She's got herself. This is where the fuck motherfuckers up comes in.